A Dolton home that she leased to Mayor Tiffany Henyard has filed eviction papers. She says Henyard has not paid her rent, and now she wants her.
South suburban politician Tiffany Henyard appears to have lost control of both governments.
So here's the story no one saw coming. The FBI is closing in, and Dolton's infamous super mayor, Tiffany Henyard, might be counting her last days of freedom. Once praised as the first black female mayor of Dolton, she's now under intense scrutiny for alleged corruption, misuse of taxpayer funds, and personal dramas that are shaking up the small Illinois town. At this point, Henyard's story has become one of the most bizarre and contentious sagas in local politics. But while law enforcement and Dolton's own trustees are rallying against her, Henyard herself isn't backing down. Instead, she's doubling down, making public statements that have everyone wondering if she really understands the severity of the accusations against her.
Now she's teasing a big announcement that she claims will result in some of her opponents being arrested and charged.
Imagine this, it's 2021, and Henyard steps into office with massive support, especially given her trailblazing role as the first African-American woman to lead Dolton. People were inspired. She seemed like a strong community advocate ready to make real changes in her town. But just 2 years in, her administration is rife with accusations, lawsuits, and wild spending stories that sound more like episodes from a reality show than anything you'd expect from local government. And that's not even scratching the surface. The real kicker here is that Henyard seems to believe she's untouchable. She recently went on a live broadcast saying, "I will be seeking arrests for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges." She's promised her supporters that she'll take down anyone involved in what she calls a conspiracy against her. According to Henyard, she's the target of a coordinated smear campaign, and she insists that all the allegations against her, from financial mismanagement to personal debts, are just tools her opponents are using to discredit her. But the evidence against her keeps piling up, and with Dolton in millions of debt, residents are left wondering where all their tax money went. Now, as the FBI digs deeper, it seems like Henyard's so-called invincibility might be coming to an end.
Because all this point the finger to Tiffany or allow me, I'm over it. Now it's time for me.
It's hard to believe this is the same mayor who was once celebrated as a groundbreaking figure for Dolton. When she was elected in 2021, Henyard came in with high hopes and a platform promising economic reform, community-driven projects, and better city management. She promised Dolton a new chapter, one that would benefit everyone, especially in the areas of safety and public services. And for a while, she did have support. People loved the idea of having someone they thought represented their values in office. But as soon as Henyard started making questionable financial decisions, her popularity quickly tanked. By 2022, complaints of financial mismanagement started swirling, and things got even murkier when she took on another role as the supervisor of Thornton Township. Suddenly, Henyard had control over 2 governmental bodies, but instead of using her influence to make positive changes, she found herself at odds with both boards. It wasn't long before the Dolton trustees began accusing her of corruption and reckless spending, while Thornton Township's trustees had their own set of grievances. It's a storyline straight out of a betrayal plot. Henyard went from being a celebrated leader to an outcast within her own administration, with practically every local government official calling her out.
We talked to Tiffany Henyard's landlord, and she says she came to this Thornton Township meeting Tuesday night hoping to get paid what she says she's owed.
And then there are the spending allegations. Henyard has been accused of misusing public funds on a level that has left many in Dolton furious. Imagine hearing that while your town struggles with unpaid vendors and declining infrastructure, your mayor is living it up on taxpayer money. Reports allege that Henyard spent thousands on luxury expenses, from first-class flights to high-end hotels. Just to give you a picture, during one of her trips to New York, she and her team reportedly stayed at the Marriott Marquis in Times Square, racking up a bill of over $13,000. Then there was her trip to Atlanta, where she reportedly stayed at the Four Seasons for a whopping $9,000. And it doesn't end there. Sources say she has a habit of treating herself to fine dining and fancy meals, all on Dolton's dime.
So now I have to pay a special process service in order to get them served, which is more fees for me.
The mayor has defended her lavish expenses, claiming they're investments for the community and necessary for building relationships that could bring economic benefits to Dolton. But the town's current financial state tells a different story. Dolton's general fund, which once had a balance of over $5 million, is now reportedly in the red, with a deficit of around $3 million. Meanwhile, unpaid checks and overdue vendor payments are piling up. Residents are asking how Henyard can justify these expenses when the town's financial stability is hanging by a thread.
Thornton Township tonight, as another board meeting got canceled because of a lack of a quorum.
And that came after a disagreement about where to hold the meeting, as trustees expressed concerns for their safety.
But Henyard's issues aren't just with city funds. She's also facing personal financial struggles, adding even more fuel to the fire. Her landlord, Janetta Hull, has publicly stated that Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, haven't paid rent in months. Hull claims she was once friends with Henyard. But now, after repeatedly asking for rent payments and being ignored, she's had enough. And get this, Henyard allegedly changed the locks on Hull's property, making it impossible for Hull to access her own home. For a mayor who reportedly earns well over $300,000 a year from her combined roles in Dolton and Dolton-Sepit, it's surprising to see her facing eviction. Hull didn't hold back when talking to the media, expressing disbelief over the mayor's financial irresponsibility and hinting that it speaks to Henyard's character. If she can't even pay her own rent, Hull asked, what does that say about how she manages public funds?
The sheriff's been out here a few times to serve them. For a household that makes, over $350,000 a year.
Adding another layer to this already tangled mess is Henyard's alleged misuse of police resources. According to reports, she's been using the local police as her own personal security detail, assigning officers to follow her around for protection at public events and even private gatherings. Residents are outraged, questioning why police who should be patrolling the streets are instead shadowing Henyard, sometimes racking up extensive overtime pay to do so. One former police chief, Robert Collins, even claimed that Henyard had ordered officers to issue tickets to people she perceived as political threats. These stories paint a picture of a leader who uses her position to intimidate and control, all while the town's safety and financial stability hang in the balance.
It's a power grab. That's it. Power and money grab.
But here's the twist. Henyard isn't shy about defending herself. She's gone on record multiple times, claiming she's the victim of discrimination. In her eyes, her critics are attacking her not because of her alleged wrongdoings, but because she's a Black woman in power. She's publicly stated, "It's me today, it's you tomorrow," urging other women to stand by her and support her through what she calls unjust persecution. Henyard is known for using identity politics to deflect from her controversies, portraying herself as a symbol of resilience and strength in the face of adversity. She's often called for solidarity among women and the Black community, suggesting that her critics' accusations are rooted in prejudice rather than genuine concern for Dolton's welfare.
I will be seeking arrests for individuals involved. I will be pressing charges.
While some people buy into Henyard's narrative, seeing her as a target of an unfair smear campaign, many others in the community see it as nothing more than a convenient way to avoid responsibility. The backlash has been fierce, with residents and critics alike pointing out that Henyard's position as a Black woman in power has nothing to do with her handling of public funds or her personal financial troubles. Trustee Jason House, one of her most vocal opponents, didn't hold back when he said, "We're not saying police aren't doing a good job. We're saying you're assigning all of them to be with you when they should be out here protecting the residents so we can all feel safe."
Henyard's landlord showed up here to see her tenant in person after she says Henyard has been dodging both her and rent payments for months.
With each new scandal, Henyard's support has only dwindled further. Recently, things reached a boiling point when she attended a town hall meeting, only to be met with boos and jeers from the crowd. Dolton residents, once hopeful that Henyard would bring positive changes, now see her as a source of division and frustration. And just to add insult to injury, Dolton's own trustees have filed lawsuits against her, alleging she forged checks and withheld important financial records. Henyard, of course, denies all wrongdoing, but the mounting legal challenges are becoming harder to ignore.
Just here because I'm at wit's end and I fear that I'm going to go into foreclosure soon if I can't get this matter handled.
It's not just the lawsuits, though the FBI has stepped in, reportedly issuing subpoenas and ramping up their investigation into Henyard's administration for a mayor who's claimed to be a super mayor and a protector of the people. This federal investigation is a stark contrast to the image she's tried so hard to project. Supporters who once praised her dedication to the town are now questioning whether she's more focused on preserving her own power and lifestyle than actually serving Dolton. And as for Henyard's response, she's sticking to her story, claiming that all of this is part of an elaborate plot to bring her down.
It's just getting to be redundant, and we're getting tired of coming here, not having the laws followed, not having a meeting.
Yet, Henyard isn't backing down. She's publicly announced her intention to run for re-election, despite the controversy surrounding her. On social media, she declared, "Attention, attention, attention, I am running for re-election for mayor of Dolton." Her message is clear. She's not going anywhere without a fight. But with her campaign committee recording no recent contributions or expenses, it's unclear how she plans to fund her re-election bid. It's a strange situation, especially for a mayor facing serious allegations and a federal investigation.
It's her fault. It's her problem, her responsibility, and she failed. She's failed everybody.
Fan reactions online have been brutal, with comments like "the narcissism, hypocrisy, and gaslighting coming from Tiff is incredible. She doesn't know when to stop," reflecting the general frustration with her leadership style. Another comment read, "If she's crashing out, It would be a shame on her family and so-called friends who have failed to tell her how ratchet she is. These comments show just how much public opinion has turned against her, with even former supporters expressing disappointment and disbelief at how she's handling herself. So, what's next for Tiffany Henyard? Will the FBI's investigation finally bring an end to her time in office, or will she somehow manage to hold onto power against all odds? And, as she continues to fight her critics and defend her reputation, will Dolton's residents find the justice they've been calling for? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Henyard is being unfairly targeted? Or is this the inevitable outcome of her actions? And stay tuned, because with each new twist in this saga, it looks like the drama surrounding Dolton's super mayor is far from over.